Hello, my name is Krish Moorjani. I'm Sindhi. The Sindhis are an ethnolinguistic group of people from the Sindh region of Pakistan, a region which used to be part of India. However, due to British Partition, several Sindhis, thousands of Sindhis, have died, and the culture in the modern day has lost relevance. This is the story of my family, how my family came to America, and it is a story of Sindhis, a modern dying culture. Let's start by discussing the Moorjanis, my dad's side of the family.
My name is Gautam Moorjani. On my mom's side, the names of my grandparents are Parvati and Asudaman. On my dad's side, the names are Rukibai, is my grandmother, and Kiratra is my grandpa's name. My dad's name is Prem Moorjani. My mom's name is Jyoti Moorjani, but Jyoti was a married name. Before she got married, her name was Kamla. They remember leaving their homes and having to leave all their belongings, their homes, and they pretty much got fragmented and split from all their friends and family when they had to find a way out of Pakistan, which was getting converted to its own country at that time. It was called Sindh before the partition. They lost a large part of the culture, and a lot of it was not just for my parents and their families, but for the whole community. They basically fled their homes and their whole institutions, their educational institutions, their hospitals, their libraries, and they left a whole bunch of material, including books and art and music and many things that could never be recovered, much less restored. They were in a city called Hyderabad in the state of Sindh, and on both sides it was a combination of leaving on foot, then getting on trains, then getting on buses, and in between again going for miles and miles and miles on your foot. My dad's side, similar story, on foot, trains, buses, more foot, and they ended up all the way in South India in a town called Chennai. It used to be called Madras at the time. So on the journey, of course, many families had family members that got sick, or they were already sick, or contracted disease on the way because they didn't have sanitary water, they didn't have a lot of food, and so they were drinking whatever they could just to stay alive and survive. And one of my mom's sisters, who was 6 or 7 years old, got sick and died on the journey from Pakistan all the way to Sri Lanka. They preserved the culture of the regular attending of the Sindhi temple, and very quickly established those temples in the cities that they settled in, and regularly attended the services that were held there, typically on Saturdays or Sundays or for festivals, and made sure that the family participated in all of that at home. We had a temple that preserved all the gods, and we regularly celebrated the big festivals and events, and that was their way of trying to preserve the culture. My parents were both actually introduced. My mom's sister lived in Chennai, where my dad was, and through the families they knew of my dad and his family. And when my mom was visiting from Sri Lanka to Chennai, they facilitated an introduction, which in most terms is considered arranged. My dad took over and was part of his family's business in textiles and garments in Chennai, and he realized that was going to be a very difficult business to bring his son into. He called it a slow poison, the retail business, because he worked 7 days a week, and he worked all of the holidays, and he didn't really want me to enter into that business, so he decided to move to the US so that I could have an education. I came over in 1982 as a brown Indian teenager, integrating into a very small town in Texas called San Marcos, Texas, that had 25,000 people, I think, at the time, and there was only 2 Indian families. It really created a environment that made me very introverted and segregated, you could say, from from the society that I was part of.
Now let's move on to my mom's side of the family, the Mirpuris.
Hi, my name is Arpana Moorjani. My dad's side is Vishandas Mirpuri, and my grandma's name was Puri Mirpuri, and my mom's side grandparents is Kishan Chand, and my grandma's name was Duru.
My nana, or my grandpa, was named Prakash Mirpuri, and my nani, or my grandma, was named Bina Kiani as a maiden name, and then she adopted the name Bina Mirpuri.
They lived a very amazing life there, and it was such a tragedy the way they had to leave everything that they had, and just move to save their lives and their families. No, I don't think my parents experienced the partition because of my grandparents. I think when they left, I don't think my parents were born in Sindh, they were born in India. But I think the most people that were affected were the ancestors, which is the grandparents, the great-grandparents. They were the ones who were really affected by the whole partition.
So all the Hindus were asked to leave the country. So if they were not leaving the country, they were beaten up, they were attacked. So people had to all move out of Pakistan. And what I know is Nana's father. He was originally born over there, and even my father lived in Pakistan. They had to leave the country without taking anything. So all this was just left behind. They had all their own factory over there where they made these pipes and all, but they could bring nothing here.
Yeah, I was definitely close to my grandparents. I would say more to my dad's parents, because we all used to live together in the same house, so the interaction was definitely more. And my grandfather was a very spiritual person, so he had a very good influence on us into reaching the goodness of being a good human being, and following the right path of doing good and being good. So he definitely played a very important role in my life and the way I shaped out today. And my grandma used to pamper us a lot and make all our favorite foods. And it used to be very exciting to go and see my grandma, because she always used to make all the things I loved, and she made sure she made something special for all of us. Well, they tried to, just in our household, try to make us learn our language, which is Sindhi, and made sure we learned it, so that it was very important that we knew how to speak Sindhi, because it's a part of who we are, and I think it was important to them. Food, of course, is a big part of our life. We make Sindhi food. Till today I cook Sindhi food, and it's not a cuisine you necessarily see in restaurants so much, so preserving that culture of the food, of the festivals, of speaking the Sindhi language, I think that was a very important part of our life, definitely. My parents met because my grandparents were kind of like family friends, and their retail businesses were in the same area, and they were all family friends. So it was arranged by my grandparents, and they arranged the marriage, basically.
As my family history proves, partition had long-lasting effects on Pakistan, India, and their relations on the global sphere. Here's what my dad is able to recount about his family's perspective on partition.
They viewed it as a British ploy to divide India. Since they couldn't have it, they were going to divide in a way that would always leave a lasting impression. They thought there was a master plan that the two countries would always not get along, and they created this region in the middle that they said was independent and could choose which country it wanted to be part of, and they felt like that was an intention to not allow India or Pakistan to really prosper.
Even though on the surface my ancestors' point of view may seem wrong, there is an element of truth. The British had, quote, been horrified during the revolt of 1857 to see Hindus and Muslims fighting side by side, according to Al Jazeera, And as a result, it would make sense for the British to divide India and Pakistan during partition to put people against each other. According to Shashi Tharoor, an elected member of India's parliament, before leaving India, the British made sure a united India would not be possible, guaranteeing conflict between Pakistan and India. And considering the modern day conflict between India and Pakistan over Kashmir, it's hard to deny that, even if it may not be totally true. This documentary is my way of remembering the ghosts in my family. Even if I didn't get to meet my great-grandparents, and even if I didn't really get to know my grandparents on my dad's side very well, it is my belief that Sindhis must preserve their culture. In the modern day, we often don't address the numerous cultures that were wiped out by partition, or the lasting effects of imperialism. This is my way of paying respects to my ancestors, the ancestors who struggled so much to get me to America. I've discovered a lot more about how partition and a more accepting immigration policy with the Immigration and Nationality Act under Johnson helped my family move and integrate into American society throughout the researching of this project. But that doesn't mean I can forget about my Sindhi roots. Even though I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, I do believe it is my job to honor my family. Thank you.